This is the level 2 practice paper from City and Guilds, and this is part A. In total 15 marks. You can't use a calculator for this part. Going to question 1. What is 108 as a fraction of 648? Give your answer in its simplest form. Okay, I can see that both of the numbers can be divided by 2. So this is going to give me 54 over 324. Again, this can be divided by 2. Both of these numbers can be divided by 3. So 16 divided by 3 is going to be 5, remaining 1. 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. We can again divide by 9. 1/6. Moving on to the second question. Which one of the following lists is in decreasing order? So we've got the same numbers, but in a different order for each row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert them all to decimals. So 1/5 as a decimal, that is 0.2. I know that already. Or I could multiply this by 2 and this by 2. So that makes it 2/10, which again gives us 0.2, if that's easier for you. And we've also got 0.05. Now 17/50. If we double both of the numbers at the top and at the bottom, then we're going to have 34/100, which is 0.34. We've got 0.15. Now we're going to put them in decreasing order, which means from the highest to the lowest. So which one of these is the highest? That is 0.34. And then we've got 0.2, which is the same as 0.20, in case you're getting confused. The equivalent of 20 pence in a pound. And then we get 0.15 and finally 0.05. So having a look, which one of these options starts with 0.34? And that is this one, option D, where we've got 17/50, and then we've got 1/5, which is 0.2. So option D seems to be the correct one. Looking at question number 3. The diagram shows a regular polygon, which means that the sizes of the sides will be the same, which means also that these angles will be of the same size. So thinking of the full circle, that is going to be 360 degrees. And this has been split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts. So I'm going to divide this by 8. How many 8s fit into 36? That is 4, so 32, 4 remaining. 8 into 40, that is 5, so 45 degrees will be angle B. You can check by multiplying 45 by 8. Does it give you 360? If so, you've got it right. In question number 4, work out the value of y if 4 lots of y are equal to 144. So 4 lots of y equal 144. So 1 lot of y will be 4 times less. So 144 divided by 4. How many 4s fit into 14? That is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 remaining. 4s into 24. That is 6. So the answer is 36. And you can check 36 times 4 gives us 144. Now we've got to work out 3 squared over 3 minus 28. So we've got to apply BODMAS or BODMAS. We don't have any brackets. We have indices, which is 3 squared. So we're going to rewrite this as 9 over 3 minus 28. Now the next two operations, we've got division here, so 9 divided by 3, and we've got subtraction. So we're going to do division first. So 9 divided by 3 gives us 3. Take away 28. So thinking if the temperature is 3 degrees Celsius and it drops by 28 degrees, then we're going to go into negatives. So that's going to be negative 25. Moving on, we've got the radius of the top of this cylinder is 7 centimeters. We're given the height, which is 10 centimeters. We've got to use pi equals 22 over 7 to work out the volume of the cylinder. We know that we've got to work out the area of the top of the cylinder, or the base of the cylinder, which is the same. So we'll do that first. We know that the radius is equal to 7 centimeters. So to work out the surface of the top of the cylinder, we're going to go pi r squared, which is 22 over 7 times 7 squared. So 22 over 7 times 49, which is also the same as saying 22 over 7 times 49 over 1. Now we can just multiply these 2 and these 2 and then simplify the fraction, but a much easier and simpler way is to actually divide or simplify these numbers across. So we've got 7 lots of 7 into 49. So if I simplify and put this as a 7 and this as a 1, so I've divided both of them by 7, and that is for numbers that are across when you multiply two fractions. So now it's much easier for me. So all I need to do is multiply 22 by 7. So 154. Now we've got to multiply it by the height. So 154 times 10. We know that we just need to add 0 to 154 in this particular case. So it is 1540. Question number 7. So we've got to work out 11 eighths take away 1/16. what is that equal to? At the moment, we haven't got them split into equal slices. So we've got to find a common denominator, as we call that. So we've got 8 and 16. To make them both the same, I'm going to double the 8 to make it 16, but I need to do the same to the 11. So doubling 11 gives me 22 minus 1 over 16. So I don't need to change 1 over 16 because it has 16 at the bottom, and that's what I need. So how many 16s would there be? 22, take away 1, gives me 21 over 16. Now, none of these have this exact fraction in here, so it must have been converted to a mixed number. So we'll do that for 21 over 16. How many 16s fit into 21? There is only 1, and then there are 5 left. So 1 and 5 16ths. And that is option C. Now we've got to divide 4.50 by 0.05. So division, we know that it means the same as fraction. So I'll rewrite that as 4.50 over 0.05. And to keep the fraction the same, we need to multiply or divide both numbers by the same number. So to turn these into whole numbers, so it's going to make my life easier, I'm going to multiply both of them by 10. So that means the decimal point will move one place to the right. So this becomes 45.0 over 0.5. I still haven't got a whole number, so I'm going to multiply by 10 again. And then we get 450 over 5. I could have just skipped the 2 steps and gone by 1 step, so multiplying the initial fraction by 100, and it would have given me the same answer. So now it's very easy for me to divide 450 by 5. How many 5s fit into 45? That is 9 into 0. There is 0, lots of them. So the answer is 90. You can check now by multiplying 0.05 by 90 and see if it gives you 4.50. The other way, if this seemed a bit too complex, is to see how many 5 pennies would fit into £4.50, and that would be the same answer. Now we've got question number 9. Diagram not to scale, so it's not worth measuring any of the angles or the sides. We've got to work out the perimeter of this triangle. We don't know all the sides, but what we know is these 2 angles, which are both the same, 60 and 60. Now we know that in a triangle, the 3 angles will add up to 180. So we've got 120 already, which then leaves us with just 60. So this angle here is also equal to 60. So it's an equilateral triangle, which means that the 3 sides are the same. So we've got 24 millimeters, so 3 lots of 24 to work out the perimeter, because there are 3 sides. $72 millimeters. Question number 10. The call center aims to deal with calls in less than 5 minutes. Calls come in randomly. The table shows data for the calls made to the center. Type of call, customer complaints. Proportion of all calls, 1/4. Completed in less than 5 minutes, half. New business, type of call. Proportion of all calls, 3/4. Completed in less than 5 minutes, 1/8. Work out the probability that the next call will be a customer complaint completed within under 5 minutes. Give your answer as a fraction in the simplest form. So we are focusing on customer complaints, not new business, and on the calls completed within under 5 minutes. So half of 1/4 of the calls. So half of 1/4, that is 1/8. And that is in the form. Question number 11. The government announces that the minimum wage for people over 25 years old will increase from £8.21 to £8.72 per hour. A 26-year-old woman works 30 hours a week and is paid the minimum wage. She thinks that the extra money she will earn will cover a rent increase of £20 per week. Is the woman correct? Show your calculation. So the increase is worked out by taking away. So we've got 872, take away 821. So it's 51 pence. She works 30 hours a week. So let's multiply this by 10 times 10 gives us £5.10 times 3 that gives us £15.30. If we compare it to the £20 per week, the question is that she thinks that the extra money she will earn will cover a rent increase of £20 per week, which is not the case because this is less. So decision is no. She is not correct. Question number 12. A driver sees the speed limit sign in France. The speed is in kilometers per hour. So it's 130 kilometers per hour. He's driving at 80 miles per hour. He thinks this is below the speed limit. Is he correct? Explain your answer showing your calculation. And we've got 1 kilometer is equal to 5/8 of a mile. So if 1 kilometer is equal to 5/8 of a mile, what about 130 kilometers? So it's 130 times larger than this. So we'll go 130 times 5/8. If we convert both of them to fractions, we get 130 over 1 times 5/8. So we multiply the two top numbers, the numerators and the denominators. So 130 times 5 . 650 over 1 lots of 8 is 8. So we've got to divide 650 by 8. How many 8s fit under 65? That is 8. There is 1 remaining. 8 into 10 is 1. 2 remaining. Now we've got to put a decimal point. So 8 into 20. There is 2. So we've got 4 left. Then is 5. So 81.25. So that's how many miles 130 kilometers is equal to. So that's the speed limit. He's driving at 80 miles, which is less than 81.25. So he's actually below the speed limit, so he's correct. And our explanation can be 130 kilometers is equal to 81.25 miles. So less than 80 miles. Question 13. A man has a fish tank with the following dimensions: 41 centimeters by 20 by 21 centimeters. He needs to know approximate volume of the tank. What is its approximate volume? So approximate is a keyword in here. If we write the exact answer, we're not going to get the full marks. So we need to estimate. So we have to round these values. So 29, I'm going to round that to 30 centimeters, 41 to 40 centimeters, and 24 to 25 centimeters. Okay, so not all of the values need to be rounded to the same degree of accuracy. Because if I put 20, it's going to give me a much lower value. So 25 is a good number there. So I can now multiply them to get the volume, because you know that volume is worked out by multiplying length times width times height or depth. So we've got 40 times 30 times 25. So 4 times 3 is 12 euros. That gives me 1,200 for these two. Now I'm going to multiply that by 25. I could do it in my head as well as do 10 lots of 25, which is 250, and 2 lots of 25, which is 50, and then add the 2 zeros at the end. So that's the answer, but you could easily work it out with a calculator, since this is a calculator paper. So we've got 30,000 as the answer.